Watch this video that I made with Jupie on the subject of heel. Heel is one of the most important commands you can teach your dog. Your dog should know all the basic commands. Heel is very important. As soon as you get your dog, doesn't matter if it's 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, keep it on the left-hand side and the left-hand side only. If it, Jupie's being naughty. If the dog isn't at heel, right, then the dog's making a mistake. Get the dog back on the heel position. Dog training's a lot of muscle memory. It is. So many behavioral problems start because the owner isn't keeping the dog at heel or not putting the e-collar on daily. It's the truth. It's the truth. Keep your dog at heel. If your dog is e-collar conditioned, put the e-collar on daily and your dog won't have these problems, won't have problems with aggression, eating food on the street, dominance issues. Every time you take the dog outside, consider it a training scenario and keep the dog at heel. This is for the lifetime of the dog. Keep the dog at heel. Jupie is doing a textbook heel again. We went over and reconditioned this command with the e-collar, and his eyeballs are right even with my left leg. Right, Jupie? Jupie's awesome. He's on Jupie. Heel's one of the most important commands you can use with your dog. It's a command that as soon as you get your dog, whether it's 7 weeks old or 10 weeks old, you start training the dog to heel by having it on the exact same side every time. Now, the proper side for your dog to be on is the left-hand side. If you see somebody, like somebody that's calling themselves a dog whisperer or a dog trainer, and they think heel is either the right or the left or just in the general vicinity, that is a dog whisperer. They are to be avoided. Heel is the dog's eyeball will stay even with your leg and will keep watching your leg. Heel, over here. A dog that knows heel implicitly is not going to be lunging at other dogs. It's not going to be trying to bite people. And you need to start sending the message as soon as you get your dog. You know, there's a lot of muscle memory, so keep the dog on the left-hand side. Jupie, heel. So keep the dog on the left-hand side. Does this make sense? I hope it does. Now, Jupie's been through 2 board and trains. Okay, this is his 2nd board and train. The first board and train, he was doing heel real good, and then his mom fell into a trap that many owners fall into. She stopped putting the e-collar on the dog and using the e-collar. That's a huge mistake. It is. The e-collar's like the leash. It's an element of control, and it tells the dog that you have this element of control. So you keep putting the e-collar on the dog daily, putting it on in the morning and taking it off in the evening, and try and use it once or twice during the day, and make sure. Do you understand why? Let me explain. Dogs become collar wise. They know when the collar's on and they know when the collar's off. So if they think that if the collar's on consistently daily, you don't end up with these behavioral problems. If your dog has been collar conditioned by a competent dog trainer, keep putting the collar on until the dog is fully trained. And you keep putting the collar on for about 5 months after. Do you understand? You keep putting it on even though you're not using it because the dog is collar wise. You see what I'm saying? So don't fall into that trap that so many owners do, not putting on the e-collar. Put on the e-collar. Jupie's on 15. That's low. On 15, not only on 15, but he's on 15 with comfort pads, which means that's way lower than a human can even feel it. Without comfort pads, a human feels it about 15. So I have a leash, and the only reason why Jupie responds with the e-collar, and I can walk him around the city now. He doesn't screw with dogs or stuff on the street. He doesn't try and go after chicken bones because he knows the e-collar's on. I have a leash with me though. If there was a problem I could use it, but for demonstration purposes I brought a leash because I'm using Jupie as a demonstration dog. That's the only reason why I have the leash for this. And we don't really need the cones or anything like this because, like I said, he's been through a board and train. And to get him to start functioning again properly with heel, I just started using the e-collar and having him at heel constantly. So as soon as he comes out of the crate, come to heel. He's drinking water, and we're gonna go outside. As soon as he's done drinking water, Jupie get at heel. But if you haven't taught your dog to heel, this would be the way to do it. Notice how there's cones set up here, and they're in about a 15-20 foot stretch. That's how you teach heel. You don't teach heel on the walk. This is yard work. All dog training and the commands are yard work. So we go around these cones, right? Have your dog on a leash. Have a leather leash only. Don't have any nylon crap leash or anything like that. No mountain climbing rope, anything like that. The only type of rope leashes that I use are ones made out of equestrian rope or marine rope, because dogs don't want to chew on them. So have your dog on a leash, and you're going to have your dog on the left-hand side. Go around the cone, and then when you're coming around the cone here, say heel. Remind the dog heel and slap your thigh. And then as you go around that cone, you'll do the same thing. Okay? This is where the dog will screw up. If the dog's staying at heel pretty good, that's where they'll screw up when you're making the turn, especially if you're doing an outside turn going this way. So if I'm doing an outside turn going this way, Jupie here, heel. I might even say no heel, no heel, and give him a correction, pulling him in close. Heel. That's how you do it, right? Like this, Jupie heel. Notice how Jupie's eye is right even with my leg. That's heel. It's a figure 8 pattern. We're doing a figure 8 pattern because Jupie's more advanced. I cannot stress this enough, that the e-collar goes on daily until your dog is fully trained, and then you put it on for another 5 months, even though that you're not using it. You need to charge it, you need to put it on the dog. If you don't do that, you just end up with behavioral problems. It doesn't make any sense not to do it. Yes, it's a hassle. Get a quick release collar like Jupie has, so that it can just go, you know what size it is, you know. Do you understand? A quick release collar is like this. Sit. It's like this, right? So you can put it on. This one has a bungee cord to it so that the tension is proper. And put it on the dog daily. Charge it every 2-3 days. And you're good to go. And the dog won't start getting behavioral problems. That's the only reason why Jupie's mom was having issues with him, was that she stopped using this. She admitted it right away. She's like, I haven't been using the collar. That's a big mistake. She's paying me to tell her she's making a mistake, right? That's when dogs come here. That's what you're paying me to do, is to get the dog trained and to give you the correct information. And this is the correct information. This goes on until the dog is fully trained. So maybe Jupie wears this for a year straight, something like that, and then he wears it for another 5 months, but it's not really even being used. You avoid all kinds of issues. It makes for a calmer dog. You know, your dog's general behavior, like if they're generally calm and compliant, that becomes the dog's general behavior. If the dog's not healing and doing other things, getting in the trash and stuff like that, that becomes its general behavior. So you use the e-collar, you use the crate, you use these things when the dog is young. Many times people just fall into this trap because the dog goes to the trainer, and then the dog's coming back and functioning great. So they're like, oh, I don't even have to use this. No, you use this. You use the crate. You keep doing these things so that you don't create behavioral problems in your dog. It makes for a calm, happy dog. Jupie, put this back on. Jupie poopy. Okay, so I'm gonna do this exercise with Jupie. We're just gonna do it off leash. So he doesn't really need it. And we're gonna use the e-collar. And if he goes ahead of me, I might hit the vibration mode, or I might use the nick mode, and it's on 15. But we're doing the same exercise just because we're out here and we have the cones out here. You could use chairs. You could use some chairs in your backyard, something like that. It's a visual cue to help the dog know that it's going to turn. And remember, it's a lot of muscle memory. Don't try and teach heel on the walk. You should set time aside and do this. And as the dog gets older, you're going to want to work heel. Honestly, at this point, I can just walk Jupie and work heel. The potty command, without the potty command, if you just allow the dog to sniff, your dog isn't doing a proper heel. You tell the dog when it can sniff and go to the bathroom using the potty command. Without the potty command, your dog's popping out of heel. I hope that makes sense too. Jupie, heel. Here. Jupie, poopy. Come on, buddy. No, heel. Come on. Jupie's a good boy. Good boy, Jupie. Heel, buddy. Here. Notice how Jupie stays even with my legs. See how his eyes are even with my leg? When I stop, he stops. Jupie goes into a sit position. We like that. That's good. So if I stop at a stop sign, if there's cars or anything, and I stop, he stops. Before I proceed across the street, I would say, Jupie, heel. See? Heel. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Train your dog to heel. So many people have problems with their dogs that it could just be solved if they just walk the dog and heel. Remember, dogs that are aggressive to other dogs, you have them on the street, they're popping out of heel. They don't know heel properly. Don't ever do this dog whisper shit thinking that the dog needs to be in the general vicinity. That's not heel. Heel is right even when you're with your leg. If the dog's going forward, it's a correction going backwards with the leash. If the dog's lagging behind, it's a correction going forward with the leash. If the dog's out to the side and not close like Jupie, it's a correction coming in. Jupie, heel, and start off with your left leg. So what I mean, start off with your left leg, like if we're sitting and say that we get the green light and we can go, right? I'll say heel, right? Heel the left leg. Heel. Should be here. Sit. So much of stuff can be avoided if you just sort of clone yourself into the dog trainer. I tell this to my clients. I realize people are humans. They have like Jupie's owner is putting a business together. I'm sure that that played a part in her, like, sort of, you know, not putting the e-collar on, you know, forgetting to put it on, or just being a hassle. People have other things going on in their life, but just make a habit of doing these things. You know, it's just as important that the human gets in the habit of doing these things as the dog being conditioned to do them. And you do certain things with the dog for the lifetime of the dog. You stop at the door. You don't walk through the door with the dog, you know, ahead of you, or let the dog, you know, run in front of you. See what I'm saying? Practice heel with the dog. If your dog isn't heeling, start off today when you see this. Get your dog on the left-hand side